I'm joined now by ballet dancer Talbot Rue. Talbot, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to dive into this because I have so much respect for what you do. Tell me how you got into ballet.
Well, how I got into ballet. So I first started dancing with actually through my church. And then one year my mom's like, hey, do you want to go check out the ballet? They're having an open house. I went and looked at it and I was like, okay, I could be doing this. All right, I'll give it a shot for a year and we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna wear tights. I'm not gonna be doing any of that stuff. And then, look, 12 years later,
Right.
it's but
It's part of the job description.
yeah.
So after that first year, you thought you'd give it a year.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that you loved it, or was it something like, you know what, I'm good at this, I'm going to continue?
I was definitely I think it was more of a love thing. It was, I always loved dancing. I always loved moving around. And it was almost like I didn't really think about it too much, honestly. I'll do another year. And it just kept adding on. And eventually it got to the point where I couldn't imagine doing anything else. It was one of those I never really thought about until one day actually our director was actually asking us in a class once, why do you dance? Well, why are you here? Why are you doing this? And she asked us to ask ourselves that question, and I was like, I can't imagine myself doing anything else. It was kind of a slow. It wasn't one of those first fell in love with the things. It was
Right.
you just kind of grew into it. So.
Yeah. Okay, tell me about the academy. Tell me about the rigors of doing school and this really intense dance curriculum.
Well, lucky for me, I was homeschooled my entire education, so that definitely helped a lot. I know, in fact, many dancers find, especially when they get into high school, do start doing homeschooling or some sort of online schooling. I know there's a school program that sometimes they'll work with the ballets. Some kids, they'll come and take class at 8 a.m. at the studio, and then they go do school and come back at 4. So that definitely helped me being homeschooled and being able to do it, especially. And later when I was getting there at 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. at the ballet studio, and then doing school after that or on weekends. So yeah.
How hard is it that your art, your instrument, is your body? If a painter's brush starts falling apart, they get a new brush. If the violin needs to be replaced, you replace it. I imagine that it is stressful and difficult to take care of your instrument like you have to.
It is. It is definitely something that's stressed to us a lot by our teachers, especially growing up. They start really stressing. You gotta eat healthy. You have to make sure you're eating enough. You gotta, take care of yourself, getting enough sleep, which can be hard to do sometimes when you're trying to balance both.
Sure.
But yeah, it can be difficult, and learning when is this a sore pain? Are my muscles just achy, or is this a pain I need to go see the physical therapist about? So yeah.
I think what fascinates me so much about ballet dancers is you're kind of equal parts athlete and artist. Yeah. Do you see it that way?
I don't think I ever thought of myself as an athlete until I started dancing, and then it definitely is very athletic, and like you said, very artistic. I think that's one of the things I loved about it, though, is that's one of the things I did realize I loved about it, was the athleticism of it. But then the artistry, the ability to, I'm dancing really hard. I'm working up a sweat. But you're on stage and you're also being a character who's falling in love at the same time. I love that mix of it where I can be athletic and I can also be telling a story or, being, the art of it. Yeah.
Ballet has offered you lots of great experiences. You've been all over the country. Tell me a little bit about your different forays into the dance world that weren't here in Fort Wayne.
So when I was 19, I went to Richmond Ballet in Virginia. I was a trainee there for a year. A trainee, you're still considered kind of a student. You're still, it still is a training process. You're still taking, it's more about the classes and learning. you're still doing performing because that's part of the learning experience. But then I went to First State Ballet Theater in Delaware, and I was a company dancer there but in a company, it's at this point they're more about your performing. They're not going to be on you as much in class about your technique. Like it's going to be a lot more about they just want results from you right now. But
Right. So you got to dance in the company in Delaware. Where did you go from there?
I went to Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
I was there for 2 years in their second company. And then I came back here to Fort Wayne Ballet.
What made you decide to come back?
So this place is different than a lot of places. The difference being that I think one of the things growing up here, like I know them, but also the director here, and like not just director, the entire faculty, they really care about their dancers. You can go to some places and they care about you some. Like no one's mean. I'm not gonna say that, but there is sometimes they want to see results and they don't care how you do it. They care so much about the well-being of the dancers that is something that really attracted me to coming back. I know and being close to home and all that. It really, it's like coming back home, honestly. And
Sure.
Yeah,
How does it feel that you can be an artist, be a ballet dancer, and do all of that in this city? I think that people underestimate how lucky we are to have the sort of arts culture that we do here. Did that occur to you when you decided to come back? Like, wow, this is actually a place where I can do this.
That's exactly what I thought. I think what helped was I was watching. It was like right after I came back, and they had a show that I wasn't in because I hadn't been here long enough yet, and so
Sure.
I was watching one of the shows, and I was going, this is a real ballet company. Like I've been, you grow up somewhere, you like don't realize like what you're actually in. And then like, I'm watching, I'm like, this is a legit ballet company. We're doing real shows here. Like
Yeah.
it's also nice seeing the growth of it, and I've seen it from when it had 4 company dancers to now we got like, I think 12, 16. And
Yeah. So what is your position now with Fort Wayne Ballet?
A company dancer.
You're a company
yeah.
dancer, which means that when they do performances, of course, everybody knows about the Nutcracker, and that you are dancing in those shows, but you're no longer taking classes there. Is that accurate?
We still take class. So
Okay.
we still take class every day, Tuesday through Saturday. Sometimes some of us will come in on a days off or whatever to stay in shape, but we take class every day to just to keep working. And that was another thing actually that attracted me about Fort Wayne Ballet, about coming back, was how I said that when you're in a company level, a lot of places like they're not going to focus so much on still training you.
Right.
Another thing I like about here is that they still treat class as a learning thing for everyone. Like you're still trying to help you improve more, and that's something I think I really liked, is how much I've improved coming back, honestly. Like it's been great to see that. So
What is the hardest part about being a ballet dancer? Is it the physical aspect? Is it the performative aspect? There's so much that goes into it. Is there a hardest part for you?
I think every dancer has a different answer to that.
Yeah.
For me, it's every little detail matters. So I know a lot of times, for me, I think it is sometimes the physical aspect. Like, every little movement from like your finger to something like that, you have to be thinking about making sure to focus on that. And yeah, it's the technique of it is there's always room for improvement. But.
Yeah. So do you feel like you are continuing to learn new skills, or are you sort of just perfecting your technique at this point?
I would say it's honestly an answer of both. Like it's working on what you have, trying to perfect it, but there's always something new you can learn. I'm always surprised sometimes when we're rehearsing a piece and it's like, oh, I've never done this before, and then before you know it, it's like second nature to you.
Have you come up against something that you didn't think you were going to be capable of doing, and then it turns out you were?
Yes, all the time.
Really?
All the time. Yeah. And I think that's something that, again, I love about it, is you find out you can do so much more than you thought you could through this art form.
What is the best part? We talked about the hardest part. What's the best part about getting to express yourself in this way?
I'd say for me, I love performing. I love the fact that I can be somebody completely different on stage. That I can be, there's me, Talbot, who's from Fort Wayne, homeschooled, all that stuff. But then I can go on stage and I can be a Prince who's like from somewhere completely different. I love being that, like, the how you can just be someone completely different and just interpreting the music for like people, and I don't know, I love the athleticism of it. There's a lot of stuff I love about it. But
is there a role that you are dying to play? Is there something that you are really hoping comes into your life?
I say this all the time. I do have a role, and I know that I'll probably never get to do it, but from the ballet Romeo and Juliet, based off the Shakespeare play.
Sure.
The character Tybalt, I've always wanted to play that guy. I just love the whole, it's always fun, and when talking about being someone different, it's always fun playing the bad guy. Someone who's confident, who like has this like attitude, like it just always sounds so fun. He's got some great music, like I've always wanted to. I know that I'm on the shorter side, so I probably won't, but.
That's also that's something that people don't take into consideration, that your height, your stature, all of that
Oh, yes.
Plays a part in the parts you are able to play.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, definitely.
So, well, here's hoping that you are able to play all of your dream roles and that you continue to dance for the Fort Wayne Ballet, because we all want to get to see you. So thank you for so much for sitting down and talking with me.
Thank you.
Arts in Focus on PBS Fort Wayne is funded in part by the Our Foundation and the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne.